Hi everyone, welcome back. We are going to continue with Parshat Chayei Sara this week, and I want to focus on one phrase in the Parsha. Avraham zakein ba bayamim. Avraham was old and up there in years. And the question is, what is it doing in the particular place that it is at? That phrase comes after the burial of Sarah is described by the Torah, and now Avraham, his wife is gone, and this is what we are told. This is how he is described by God in the Torah. Question is why? Why is this necessary to say? What's the purpose of saying this in the first place? So the Midrash, Tanchuma, and I'm just going to jump right to the middle of it, tries to get to what this is all about. Because God saw how wonderful and amazing Avraham was, he was praising Avraham at this particular juncture. The Midrash says, Yaf Yafita mi b'nei Adam. Using the verse from Tehillim to describe Avraham, God says, you are more beautiful than other people, maybe all the other children of man. You know, you stand out. And Avraham said, I stand out. Where is my beauty? I walk into a city with my son. People can't tell the difference between who's the son, who's the father, who's the father, who's the son. Why? People are living 100, 200 years, however long they live. But they're not aging. Just by physically, they don't look older. They're not distinguished in how they look. So Amar Avraham says, Ribono shel olam, tzarich ata lahafrish bein ha'av labein ubein na'ar lazakein. I have a suggestion for you. You want me to stand out? You want people that are a little bit older to stand out so that maybe our message can get out there more easily? Because people will say, oh, yeah, you have life experience. Let me listen up. Here's a suggestion, God. You need to actually start to differentiate between us. Between those that are younger and the older, between the father and the son. Differentiate by look. People need to age a little bit by how they look. In order, that those who are younger will show proper respect and honor to those that are older and learn from them and understand what the traditions are and pay attention to them. Because those who stand out to us as being older than us, we should automatically be paying attention to them and what they have to teach us based on their life experience. So God says that's a great idea. From you, I'm going to start. Avram, you're going to be the first person that will become a zakein by look. People will be able to tell you're a little bit older than others. So he went to sleep. He got up the next morning. He saw my hair's white on my head, my beard is white. Oh boy, I look different. Amar lefanav Ribono shel olam. He goes back to God and he says, God, asitani dugma. You have made me into an example. That's an interesting phrase that the Midrash is using here. He didn't just say, oh, you made me look older than other people. You've made me into an example. Now, whether this conversation is realistic, that it happened, is this how it even happened? I'm inclined to say it's probably not the beginning of how people started to physically look a little bit older than other people. But this idea of asitani dugma, that you have made me into an example as a zakein, I'm the first zakein, first person who's described as looking older. And this is, of course, what is it? Avraham zakein. This is the story behind it. That's what the Midrash is telling us. On the surface, yes, there's a message in here about we need to learn from those that are older than us, understand what they have to teach us so that we can learn their traditions, pass them on to the next generation. Beautiful. But why is this at this juncture in Avram's life? Right as his wife has passed away. Right as, his house has emptied out. It's quiet. Yitzchak's on his own way now. Ishmael and Hagar left a long time ago. And a person in this situation may feel like, okay, you know what? However long God has me left on this earth, how many days I have left, or years, who knows? I'll enjoy it. But my contributions to the world in general, like in terms of like what I'm going to offer to the world and all that I've done throughout my life as Avraham, I'm taking it easy now. You know what? Like I'm not able to do what I used to do. And think about Avram's life from this pasuk on. What's the story that follows Avraham Zakein Ba Bayamim? That he was old, described as such. He goes on to ensure that his son would have a wife that is fitting for him, fitting to carry on the traditions of Avram and Sarah. And he tasks Eliezer with that, and he fulfills that mission. What else happens? Avram himself gets married again. Avram has more children. He raises more children. That's what Avraham does after he hits the point of being a Zakein. And I think that God is making him into an example here. You are the example of all Zakeinim. All those who we may categorize, and I'm not going to say who's in that category, I'm not going to get involved in that discussion, but who's a Zakein? Oftentimes we would think a Zakein is somebody who is looking towards the end, maybe enjoying the time they have left. And the Midrash is telling us we need to change that perspective, change that discussion. That is not how we should be living life when we get up there in years. Every day that we are here is another day that we can make a contribution, to make a difference, to make a change, to inspire someone. And maybe we have to do it in different ways when we get a little bit older, based on how much physical strength we have, how much mental energy we have, based on whatever tools that God has given us at any given point in our life. We must be productive. And that's what Avraham was, even after he's described as a Zakein. He's described as a Zakein, but he is vigorous. He remains vital. And he's just not waiting to live out the rest of his life. Whenever it comes, it comes. He was productive. We lost this this past Shabbat, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, Zichrono Livracha. It's a tremendous figure in the modern Orthodox Jewish community, an amazing thinker and writer. And I saw a discussion on a discussion board posted, a quote from him from earlier in his life. He had had 2 previous bouts with cancer, and he had said, did this affect his thinking and his faith, and how did it shake? Did it shake his faith? And he basically said, like his father, who had also had some illness later in his life, he had emunah. Rabbi Sachs said, I had emunah. So on both occasions when he had cancer previously, he's quoted saying, I felt, if this is the time Hashem needs me to be up there, thank you very much indeed for my time down here. I've enjoyed every day and feel very blessed. And if he wants me to stay, and there's still work for me to do, then he is going to be part of the refuah of healing me. And I put my trust in God. You see from what Rabbi Sachs is saying in this quote, as he was reflecting on his own life and challenging experiences, that every day we have work to do. If God has put us on this earth and has us here on this earth, we have work to do. We shouldn't think that, it's over, I'm just waiting towards the end, maybe I'll enjoy a little bit. But no, we need to be productive. We need to make a difference. We need to change the world, even though we don't know when the end is. If we're here today, to the extent that God has given us abilities to do so, we need to use those to make a change, to make a difference, and to make the world a little bit better than it was when we woke up this morning. Have a wonderful day. and I'll see you later this week.